Art of Fighting by SNK is a trilogy of games that took place before the events of Fatal Fury, and aside from the main character's plot, also gives a little peek to the origins of characters like Geese Howard and Jeff Bogart. In the first game, released in 1992, there are two playable characters, Rio and Robert. The game tells a story how Rio's sister was kidnapped by some gangsters, and now he is trying to find her, going from neighborhood to neighborhood and kicking some serious ass in duels against people who might just know something. The final boss of the game is a masked dude called Mr. Karate. After Ryo whoops his ass and is about to turn this fight into a one-sided bloodbath, Yuri shows up and tells him to stop because the man is there. Well, that's actually a little cliffhanger right there in the arcade version, but when the game came out on Super Nintendo, we get to see the rest of it. So, turns out Mr. Karate is really their father, Takuma Sakazaki. He's actually the guy who pretty much invented the fighting style called Kyokugen Karate. But apart from that, he dedicated his life to chasing some criminal who defeated Ronet, whoever the hell Ronet is. But clearly he is more important to Takuma than his own goddamn children. So now Takuma is trying to make things right and tells us a touching story about how he lost the track of his criminal in Southtown, and then he lost all his money on gambling, so he had to work for a guy named Geese Howard, who made him do bad things. One day, he was ordered to kill Jeff Bogart. Actually, Geese Howard is quite a badass, so I think he could do it by himself, because indeed he is a great fighter, but also he is a respected citizen, so probably he didn't want to lose his reputation. And Takuma actually was like, no can-do'sville. So Geese kidnapped his daughter, and here we are. And then he says he is really sorry for being a piece of shit father, but the kids are like, yeah, no problem paps, we good. And this ending is the same for both Ryo and Robert. And in the second game we get more playable characters. Each of them has his own little ending, but also there is a main plot ending cutscene. So the thing is that if we beat everyone else, including ourselves, we are invited by Geese Howard, who is actually playing this "come join me and together we will rule the galaxy" card. But he receives a big no, so a fight starts. When Geese is defeated and is about to receive a finishing punch, a light goes off, and next thing you know, he is sitting comfy in his jet or whatever, chatting to his servant about how he will rule the Southtown. Plus he orders to kill this guy Jeff Bogart, who is a father of the main characters from Fatal Fury. Apart from that, every character has his own little cutscene. Ryo is having a conversation in front of a house, and it turns into a fight after they argue about money. Robert tries to sweet-talk Yuri next to his Ferrari, but ends up being unconscious on the floor after she accidentally punches him with an elbow. This guy Edgy is just sitting on the rock and talking nonsense after he clearly ate some decent amount of mushrooms earlier that evening. Jack Turner decides to establish a creative dance group, and his mates seem to be looking forward to signing in, since he gets a standing ovation and a decent round of applause at the press conf outside their favorite pub. Lee Pai Long starts pursuing his second biggest dream, which is finding a cure for hemorrhoids. That's like a really not rewarding ending scene, seriously. Don't play Lee Pai Long, you will get disappointed. King meets her son, who had an operation and now he can walk on his own feet. Cute. But wait, who paid for it? Well, it's those two handsome bad boys, Ryo and Robert, or actually just Robert, as Ryo is known to be poor as a choice of characters in the first game. Nevertheless, the kid can walk again story will almost get you cry, I promise. It's so touching it could easily be a priest in Boston. Mickey the boxer guy gets his championship chance. John is asked to go on another rescue mission, but he's like, I'm gonna have to take a rain check on this one as I already got plans for the afternoon. Mr. Big is just enjoying his win with a little We Are the Champions sing-along. Takuma actually decides to retire as he is getting too old for this stuff. Temjin gets his day ruined by some cruel little kids who make fun of his haircut, while giving zero F's about him being a principal. And Yuri has another one of this "I'll get a room, you two" moments with Robert, and then she hangs out with her fake friends who like her just because she's popular right now. In Art of Fighting 3 we also have a main plot, which is Robert looking for his old-time sweetheart Freya. Turns out that she has been kidnapped by Wheeler, who wanted her to deliver the formula of some kind of magic mixture that makes a Hulk out of you. When Robert finds Freya, he is almost defeated by Wheeler on steroids, but Yuri shows up and saves him with some good old-fashioned Shoryuken. Robert gets back on the track and he kicks Wheeler's ass so bad he mentally becomes a 6-year-old kid. True story. So Freya actually decides to hang around and take care of the poor little Wheeler. Robert is like, "Whatever, babe, I'm not raising this kid." And he hits the road, which probably is his typical reaction when baby appears. Robert's final scene is him meeting Yuri at the airport, and she's like, "Enough of this cat and mouse stuff, I'm going with you, my love." And if you play Rio, you will also end up on an airport to say goodbye to Robert and actually encourage your little sister to go after this rich Italian douchebag. I mean, come on girl, we all know he's gonna leave your ass for a white girl. Katsumi on the other hand is going after Rio, so he is her final boss. And after she's done with this Ken Masters wannabe, her mom shows up and gives her a bitch slap for leaving the house without permission. I guess there's always a bigger fish in the sea. And then she's like, "I'm sorry for my daughter, but that doesn't mean our family is done with you." Plus Katsumi gives Ryo something to remember her, and I'm a little confused whether she wants to meet him again to fight him or to make out with him. You know that Wang Kol-san is the most messed up character out there when you see him. I mean, this guy has a freaking alive pelican in his backpack. So after saving the day, he just draws some pictures and lets his pelican decide which one is the best. Lenny goes to Rhodey and I'm pretty sure what she says to him is, "Let's go to bed," if you read between the lines. Rhodey, on the other hand, is not that smooth and gets his ass kicked by Lenny. And he didn't even mention bed, he just tried to explain why he left Freya behind. Carmen Cole was sent by Robert's parents to get him back to Italy, so after he convinces him to do so by kicking his ass in the final, he lets him say goodbye to everyone before he leaves. Jim Fuha must have mistaken games as he's looking for vengeance on Enji, who was a character in the previous Art of Fighting. So actually he has no purpose here in the third part, just fighting Ryo in the end and tells him to go back to Japan. But he actually doesn't want to say why he should do that. And the last one, and I think my favorite character, Sinclair, this hot Arabian sword fighter. But I guess she doesn't deserve to be treated better than any other woman in the part of the world that she came from, as she didn't even got an ending scene. I mean, the guy with the freaking pelican in the backpack gets an ending scene, and this hot, exotic chick gets nothing? Not cool, SNK. And that's how the game ends.